Letters from Christopher. The Tragic Confessions of the Watts Family Murders by Charlene Cadle. Hey y'all, we're starting with Chapter 11, Home for the Last Time. Death ends a life, not a life relationship. The weather report for early morning, August 13th, 2018, in Frederick, Colorado. Clear skies, temps in the middle 60s, light winds 15 miles per hour. Quiet Monday. Following in the footsteps of the past weekend, this week began with the calm conditions remaining across the state of Colorado. A cut-off low-pressure system had developed across southeast Colorado and would slowly move northwestward over the next few days. The ridge, while centered near Las Vegas, has eroded and weakened significantly. In the middle of the night, Shanann and her friend left the airport on their way home after a trip to Arizona with Thrive. To Shanann, this probably seemed like the weekend that would never end. She probably thought if she could do it over, she would have stayed home. As they pulled into the subdivision where the Watts family lived, it was about 1:48 a.m. How could Shanann have known this would be? The last time she would take this street to go home. She was tired, feeling sick, and probably wanted to get home to her family and crawl into bed. It weighing heavily on her mind was how she was going to save her marriage. She must have wondered if she was facing life as a single mom and how she would do it. She just wanted to be home, though, in the safety of her family. How did they know what she wanted? She probably felt grieved as she thought about having to give up her home and the life she had built with Christopher. Who says? Most likely, she searched her heart and mind as to how to repair the way she had always treated him and taken him for granted. Whoa. I don't like that. As Shanann got out of her friend's car, she opened the back door and pulled out her bag. As she shut the car door, she could feel the night air in her face. How did I know what she could feel? I can't with this book. About 66 degrees with a breeze of about 15 miles per hour. This could be the last time Shanann would feel the Colorado clean air. Who said? The last time she would wave goodbye to her friend. Thinking about the finality of that gives one chills. What in the hell is going on here? The fuck shit. It was a beautiful night. She could hear the crickets and summer nighttime bugs noises. Who told you that, Miss Cadle? The neighborhood slept, having no idea what was going on right next to them. The nighttime sky was lit with millions of stars. The moon was almost blackened out with only 8% showing. So the only light to light her way up the driveway onto the porch was the outside lights that Christopher had left on for her. Leaving the outside lights on for your husband signifies, I'm glad you're home, safe, I'm waiting for you. Many spouses have used this for years as being a sign of love for each other. Oh, it's starting to rain out here. The darkness that had hovered over her husband and her home was waiting for her on the inside. The video from their doorbell camera shows her walking up to the door. Knowing what we do now, it's chilling to watch her walk up and into her death. Oh goodness, breaks my heart. Y'all, I can't. It was the last time Shanann would ever walk up the steps to her beautiful home. A place she had felt safe and that she and the girls loved. As she walked through the front door, the shadow that waited for her would follow her in and cover her like a heavy blanket. That shadow welcomed her as she walked in the front door and slipped off her flip-flops. Doubtful she had any feeling this would be the last time she would come in their front door and up the stairs that would lead her to the evil monster. When the police officers entered the Watts house for the first time, they saw there Shanann's flip-flops sitting by the front door. That was a tell-all. This truly was the son of a mother who came home and never left. She had made it home, not just a house. In better times, Christopher said she always made it feel like love dwelt there. She would have never even considered the evil that actually was lurking there for her, just waiting for her to walk in the door and into the hands of the evil that lay just ahead and just beyond that door. We just said that like about 3 times. She probably looked in on her babies without having any idea it would be the last time she would see them on this earth. She undressed, put on a t-shirt, too tired to even take off her makeup, and slipped into bed next to Christopher, the evil monster. Had she known that would be the last time she would see her babies, she probably would have gone to each of them and lain next to them and sweetly kissed each of them, telling them she would see them in heaven in a few hours. He needed to clear Shanann's name, he said. He told them the truth about his killing the girls himself, but did not give them the other details surrounding it all. At the time, he did not tell the truth about how he killed Shanann, even after they questioned him several times about how he killed her. Obviously, thought there was more to the story. A couple months after first approaching Christopher, he decided he would tell me the truth about what happened during the morning of August 13th, 2018. When this endeavor began, that at some point he would give me his true confession, because somehow I knew there was more to the story. You don't say. Somehow we all knew that, ma'am. Since he had already pleaded guilty, it would do him no harm. Yet I wasn't really ready for what I was about to learn. That's one of the reasons I want you to read it in his own words. His confession in the letter that follows is a huge and shocking surprise. Below is a letter that Christopher wrote me, telling in part what he never told the FBI. Warning for those who are affected by the details of these murders, the following is very hard to read. I spent much time trying to decide what was the best thing to do with the information I have. Finally deciding if this were my family, I would want and deserve to have full disclosure. April 23rd, 2019. Dear Charlene, hello again. I hope you are doing well. It has been awesome talking with you on the phone, but I know the 15-minute time frame is a pain. Sometimes I can get right back on the phone, but right now there are other inmates that like to be on the phone as much as I do. So I respect their time as well. Yeah, you better, or they'll kill you. How's your dad doing? I've been praying on that every day. Yes, that petition really blew my mind, that people really want to make me suffer like that. This petition he's talking about is actually a petition. I'm one who signed it. It was a petition to try and get Shanann and the girls' pictures off of the walls in his cell, because we don't think a murderer should have his victims hanging up in his cell. Nobody else who are murderers get to have their victims who they murdered in their cell. Why should he? Because it was his wife and his children? Why is that fair? It's not. Anywho, even if they did ever take my pictures, they can't take my memories. An inmate from another institution wrote me about that subject and said if they take your pictures, they would need to take pictures from the other 500 to 600 people that have their family pictures up on their cell convicted of the same act. Well, that's not true. The other 500 to 600 people that have their family's pictures up on their cell are probably convicted of the same act, not of murdering their wife and children. Do I feel like I should be incarcerated for the act I committed? I most definitely think so. Do I imagine myself ever doing anything like this or be a danger to society? I most definitely think not. If I were to ever be released, I know I would go straight to a ministry, because he done found Jesus, and start going to jails, prisons, and help inmates. If God led me to be ordained, I would go that route as well. Possibly even be a chaplain. Oh, goodness. Maybe the laws will change one day, not in your life. My attorney team could see if I was different and knew that this was a one-time occurrence in me. They told me that in Europe, the law is I would serve 20 years or so for homicide. And in California, after 25 years of imprisonment on a life sentence, you could be released if you've had good behavior. So there's hope for everyone to live outside prison walls. I know physically I'm behind these walls, but my spirit is free, in all caps, with Christ. If God keeps putting it on your heart that there is more to the story than what I told the FBI has, You're correct. I don't like saying stuff like that over the phone because I'm never certain when they screen my calls. Always. I know I already told you the vision I had before August 13th when I was lying in bed and all the lights were on in the loft and downstairs and I felt so alone. That's exactly what happened April 14th when I was lying in my bed. I don't know if you want this in the book or if God does, but here are the things I left out. 1. August 12th. When I finished putting the girls to bed, I walked away and said, that's the last time I'm going to be tucking my babies in. Ugh. I knew it was going to happen the day before, and I did nothing to stop it. I was numb to the entire world. I had literally taken my kids to a birthday party, played with water balloons, had an amazing time, sang songs all the way home, gave them bath, a shower. I guess they meant gave them both a shower. It definitely says bath. Ate dinner, read bedtime stories, and sang bedtime songs, and still nothing registered. When Shanann had to be somewhere, I always enjoyed taking the girls places or playing outside because it was our opportunity to bond. And still the night before, I couldn't stop myself from what I knew would occur the next morning. 2. August 13th, morning of. I went to the girls' room first, before Shanann and I had our argument. I went to Bella's room, then Cece's room, and used a pillow from their bed to kill them. Ugh. That's why the cause of death was smothering. After I left Cece's room, then I climbed back in bed with Shanann, and our argument ensued. After Shanann had passed, Bella and Cece woke back up. I'm not sure how they woke back up, but they did. Bella's eyes were bruised, and both girls looked like they had been through trauma. Well, Christopher, he makes me sick. That made the act that much worse, knowing I went to their rooms first and knowing I still took their lives at the location of the batteries. 3. The reason the medical examiner found oxycodone in Shanann's system is because I gave it to her. I thought it would be easier to be with Nicole if Shanann wasn't pregnant. Oh, goodness. I don't know if this was a spiritual visit, but I had a dream Cece was dancing next to the chair in my cell. Boy, bye. When she was dancing, all my folders on the chair started moving, and I thought she was in trouble. So I said, watch out, get away, watch out. Then I woke up. No, she wasn't in trouble with anybody else. She was in trouble with you, sucker. I'm hoping she comes back. Never. I hope everyone comes to visit me. No. I'm trying to see if I can clear my head better before I go to sleep to help. He makes me so sick, y'all. I like that John 10:10 passage you sent. I wish I could have had an open ear to hear the Lord call me back in June, July, August. If we run after sin, we won't hear our shepherd calling us. I couldn't discern between the good spirits and the evil spirits, and that eventually lodged me into a deep pit I couldn't climb back out of. Take care and God bless, Chris. After receiving this letter from Christopher, I had many questions, as you imagine. There are the things he told me after I had received this letter. I asked him about the oxy. He told me first that he gave it to her twice. I guess she meant he told me first that he gave it to her once, then twice. I don't know. Once at her parents', and the second time right before he killed her. Oh my gosh. I asked him about the oxy. He told me first that he gave it to her twice. Once at her parents' and the second time right before he killed her. At that time, he told me that's the reason she couldn't fight back. Later, when I questioned him about it again, he said he only gave it to her once. I asked him where he got the oxy, and he told me that this is one of the things he will take to his death. 1 minute we would talk about downsizing the house and getting something more affordable in a more affordable town. Then we would go back to me telling her I was going to get an apartment and more out on my own for a while. Shanann started crying because she did not want to separate, telling me she loved me. I hate so much that I came back to her with, I don't love you. Ugh, piece of shit. And I'm not compatible with you anymore. As she was crying with her mascara running down her face, she told me she couldn't make it in Colorado by herself with 3 kids. Isn't it weird how I look back And what I remember so much is her face getting all black with streaks of mascara. Yeah, Christopher, that's very weird, devil. There was no feeling coming for me as I told her I could help her and she would make it. What kind of man or father could callously say that to his pregnant wife who was almost begging to keep her family together? Then she became very angry and very, very upset and told me if I left her, she would not allow me to see the kids. She was used to getting her way. Ugh. And when she saw she wasn't, she would revert as always to anger and threats to what she wanted. This time, though, I was not giving in to her demands. That's when my anger for her began. Years of her telling me what to do and what not to do, keeping me from my own family for sometimes months at a time, were over. Oh, keeping me in the background was over. All the weeks of me thinking about killing her, and now I was faced with it. When she started to get drowsy, I somehow knew how to squeeze the jugular veins until it cut off the blood flow to her brain, and she passed out. Ugh. Oh, it was even easier than the girls. She lay there and didn't fight back. I held the jugular for what seemed like a very long time. I watched my hands and thought I should take them off her neck, but I couldn't. I knew if I took my hands off of her, she would still keep me from Nikki. She asked me why she didn't fight back. It's because she couldn't fight back. Her eyes filled with blood as she looked at me and she died. I knew she was gone when she relieved herself. You disrespectful mother effer. Ew. I want to strangle him myself. I was wrapping her up in the bed sheet when the girls came walking into the room. I don't know how it could be possible, but they were both up and walking around. I knew if Nikki and I were going to be together, I had to kill all of them. I wrapped Shanann in the sheet, and Bella kept asking me what was wrong with Mommy. Both girls started crying. Both girls looked like they had been through something. I knew it was because of being smothered. I could not comfort my girls. I had no desire to. I think I told her Mommy would be okay. She just didn't feel good. I tried to carry Shanann down the stairs, but I lost my grip on her twice, and she was too heavy for me to carry. She fell to the floor, and I ended up kind of sliding her down the stairs. He is so disrespectful. The girls were just kind of running. Bella started to cry, and when she did, Celeste started whimpering. Would not have to witness any of this. Wait, what? Sorry. Ugh, what a nightmare this was. Oh, what a nightmare this was for you, Christopher. This is the reason I killed them first. Oh, so they did not have to witness any of this. Oh my God. He's really sitting here admitting, like, he tried to kill him twice. He succeeded the second time. Oh my God. I wanted to take them peacefully and make it so much easier for them and for me. Now I didn't know what I was going to do. I got Shanann down the stairs and laid her by the back door. I ran outside and backed my truck up in the driveway. As I was moving the truck, I realized that everything I had thought about was about to be completed. I was angry with the girls, that they were up and awake, and I felt anger for Shanann that I could have killed anything that got in my way. My hands were shaking so hard and my knees were buckling under me. I felt like I was seeing through a dark screen. It was too late. I was in this nightmare and it wouldn't let me out. I realize now the girls getting up and walking around may have been God's third attempt to stop what I was doing. It was too late. No, it wasn't too late. Though I couldn't stop. Something had taken me and I couldn't pull back from it. I gathered my things I would need, such as My lunch, his lunch. Don't forget your lunch. A shovel. Lunch, I'm reading, he grabbed his lunch. And the next word I'm reading, a shovel. How does those two go together? Oh, my lunch, a shovel, and rake from the garage. And something wanted me to take the gas can from the garage. I still did not know why I took the gas can. You knew why. The FBI asked me if I was going to take my own life. No, you weren't. And I told them I thought about it, but honestly, no. Of course not. I was not going to take my own life. Sure you weren't. We know that. I got Shanann out of the truck, but mostly dragging her. Oh, I can't take it. Once at the truck, I lifted her in the bag, laid her on the floor. I went around to the other side and pulled her across the back floor. Oh, the stench of her relieving herself was so strong that to this day I could smell it, and it makes me sick. He makes me sick. You know what, Christopher? You make me the most sick. I can't stand you and the disrespect. Maybe could it be death because you just killed your wife? You murdered her. You piece of scum. You trash. You make me sick. You asshole. You mother effer. I can't do it. Y'all. Now I'm sure if it's the stench. Now I'm not sure if it's the stench of her relieving herself or if it was the stench of death. It was the stench of death, I said. Ugh, I want to slap him. I want to strangle him. Man, her family's better than me because he deserved the death penalty, and they stopped it and let him give him life. Wow. Those people have my respect. I'm not that strong because nope, he would have had to have death. At some point, I grabbed a couple of garbage bags and put them around Shanann's feet and her head. I gotta take a break, y'all. I'll be right back. It's a lot.